scene entitled Advantage China, authored by Ian Bremmer. And we quote, President Donald Trump has plenty of work to do during his 10-day tour of Asia in November. In Japan and South Korea, he must reassure nervous allies that America First foreign policy does not mean that the United States has ceded regional dominance to China. In Vietnam and in the Philippines, he has to communicate deep American interest in balancing China's influence in Southeast Asia. But the most important stop will be in Beijing, where Donald Trump will meet President Xi Jinping for the first time since the Chinese leader heralded a new era in global politics at his pivotal party congress in October. Donald Trump will try to project strength while calling for closer cooperation on North Korea and on resolving trade issues. But he arrives at a time when China, not the United States, is the single most powerful actor in the global economy. The Chinese authoritarian capitalist model was not supposed to survive in a global free market, let alone thrive. As recently as 5 years ago, there was a consensus that China would someday need fundamental political reform for the state to maintain its legitimacy, and that China could not sustain its state capitalist system. Today, however, China's political and economic system is better equipped and perhaps even more sustainable than the American model, which has dominated the international system since the end of World War II. While the United States economy remains the world's largest, China's ability to use state-owned companies to boost the party's domestic and foreign influence ensures that the emerging giant is on the track to surpass U.S. gross domestic product in 2025, according to the Center of Economics and Business Research in the United States itself. More about this after these messages. This is Laura Henares making your day with the first part of an article in Time magazine authored by Ian Bremmer entitled Advantage China. And we continue to quote, the United States is hardly irrelevant. The dollar remains the global reserve currency, an exorbitant privilege that will likely last for years to come. Wealthy Chinese continue to invest in U.S. real estate and send their kids to United States schools. But the pillars of U.S. power, its military alliances, its trade leadership, and its willingness to promote Western political values are eroding. At the same time, the leaders of other emerging powers, not just Russia, but also democracies like India and Turkey, are following China's lead in building systems where government embraces commerce while tightening control over domestic politics, economic competition, and control of information. This process has been in motion for many years, but China now has its strongest leader in decades, and the United States has its weakest leader in decades. Americans and Europeans have always assumed that the long arc of human development bends towards liberal democracy. But what if they are wrong? There is an old, likely apocryphal story that during a visit to China several decades ago, economist and free market fundamentalist Milton Friedman visited a site where workers were building a canal. When he asked his host why the workers were using shovels and wheelbarrows rather than modern equipment like tractors, he was told that the project's purpose was to create jobs. If it's jobs you really want, Friedman asked, why not give the workers spoons instead of shovels? But times have changed since then, but not all that much. The reality remains that it is far easier for Premier Xi to command Chinese officials to create and protect jobs, for example, than it was for Barack Obama to persuade Republican lawmakers to bail out the U.S. auto industry in the wake of the U.S. financial crisis. More tomorrow, my dear friends. This is Larry Henares, making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.